Look, everybody. What's going on? What's going on? Alright, so we are going to finish some stuff we did last time. Which was, we were trying to automate some of our tests in CI/CD, some of our integration tests. So we're going to continue to finish that up today. And part of that is going to be refactoring some tests to use instead of hitting the real network, we're going to just hit the straight up API itself. So I'm not sure why I didn't do that in the first place. I should have done that way to begin with on some of my integration tests, but I didn't. So I forgot that, oh yeah, I used to do it this way. So we're going to go and refactor, like, I don't know, 5 or 10 tests and then push it up to CI/CD and it should work. We already automated some of the other tests already, so going back to where I was working, I just got this test to pass. We're injecting the mechanism to send the GraphQL query into our domain logic. So that lets me send in the real call versus the fake call. And the fake call is not really a fake call, it's just that it's hitting the API directly instead of having to make a network request to get to the API. So if you look at this, get skills, this is part of my Slack application. We have a Slack application, we have a front end, which is we do tdd.com. We have a Slack app, we have a GraphQL service, and another, just a static service here. And these tests on Slack are calling the GraphQL service to get stuff. So, and so here's the real code. The real code makes a real request to the GraphQL. It uses the real send query, which is to make a, we inject that, which is here. I can't click on it because we're injecting it. I can't get back to it. So what that's using is this. So it makes a real request. We actually don't need this anymore. We'll take this out once we start using the API directly in our tests. So we'll do that in a second. Let's actually put I'll put a to-do item in here. So to do, not to maintain velocity. I'm like, that's not called agile. Agile means velocity changes, and what's more important is getting stuff out that's small pieces so you get fast feedback and then pivot. That's what's important, not the velocity number. So anyways, I wrote that down for some reason, but my head looks big. What's going on here? There we go. we have to do. So we have to remove this stuff. So copy relative path. Where are you? Copy relative path. Copy. What happened to my relative path? Copy. I don't want the whole path. Usually there's an option that says copy relative path. Oh, there it goes. They moved it. Okay. I want this one. So remove the test URL from after we get tests using the API directly for GraphQL. All right, so we'll have to reduce and refactor, remove this once our tests are using the GraphQL service directly. So here's the real code. It makes a real GraphQL call. Now, from our tests are sending in, so here's where we inject the real call versus the fake call, right? So we're in our Slack app, we have our domain logic, and I have too many tabs open. Let me close some of this stuff out. Back to the test I was working on, which is here. So we inject this call now from our tests instead. And that's just simply talking straight up to our GraphQL API directly. There's no calls, no network calls being made. This is typically the way you test APIs, right? Except for I want to test my Slack app communicating with the GraphQL. So I'm going to inject the GraphQL API in here. And then when we send a post request to localhost, it's going to hit this and then hit my GraphQL API. It doesn't need a network request to approve that. So that's it. And then so we're just converting some of these tests to do that. So back to here, this one I think was still failing. Let's see. I also want to get rid of Jest because Jest is too slow. Jest is a slow framework just by its nature. It's not built for speed. So we're gonna get rid of some of the Jest stuff in here too and just use Mocha. I'm using Mocha for the majority of my tests and they run fast. That's all I care about. I don't need bells and whistles. So, and Mocha does just a fine job. So, all right. So this one's still failing because let's see. We get 10. Greater than 10, we get 3 because now we're actually hitting. Okay, so now we're. Oh yeah, because there's only three kinds of skills. Before, when I was doing these tests, I was using stubs, and they were using JS literals. Well, we're no longer using those, so some of these assertions have the number that they're comparing on has to change because we're actually hitting an in-memory database now, and so it's close to the real thing. It's hitting the data that's actually in the database, but it's an in-memory database, so it's really fast. So yeah, this should pass, and then that's fixed. So now this test is now hitting the GraphQL API directly, and then it's hitting the in-memory database. So it's a lot better. So if it's still failing, okay. So see how slow Jest is. It takes forever to start up. I can't stand that. It's a waste of my time. So we'll change out Jest right after we get these tests converted to using this send query. So let's run all of our tests. Let's see. We're only running this test right now. So let's go back and run our. Another thing about Jest is you can't just put, as far as I know, you can't just do an only on this stuff. It won't let you do it. It's stupid. And I don't want to run it from the command line. So it's another reason I want to get rid of Jest. I don't like Jest. So let's run over our tests again, see what we have. Come on, see what I'm talking about. I can't wait this long for my test to run. And you shouldn't wait either. You should be complaining about this kind of stuff as a developer. It shouldn't be this long. So skill section is not iterable. So this test is failing. So let's see what this test is doing. This is in. Oh, this is actually in our production code. What? How did that change? Oh, because we changed. Okay, so we basically. I don't know. Let's see what's going on here. Skill sections. Skill sections. This is the view we present to the user in Slack. So it's saying that it's not happy because it's probably getting undefined or something for skills or something. So the skills section takes in a list of skills, but it's not obviously getting that. So if we go back to the thing I changed yesterday for this test, the get skills, in production code, we're calling that up in. Let's find it out. Let's find out. We're calling that from here. Not here, but maybe it's here. Oh, where is it? Must have been not working still, because we tested this directly, but we didn't test it with this. So let me see if I've got a test for this. Crafter profile. Need a test. It's probably failing. We might have to fix these first. Add crafter profile. Is there a test for that? Add crafter profile. Add crafter profile. Present add crafter profile. I'm not testing add crafter profile directly. Let's see. Let's go see. Just give me a sec. I'm just hopping all over the place for. Just give me 1 minute here. Oh, I know why. So we changed it. We sent this in, and then a skills section. Get skills. Sucks that I can't click on this. Get skills is where? I can't like click into it. Get skills. So we injected the send query. We waited on it. It should still work. I don't know why it's saying. I don't know why it's bitching. Because we just all we did is inject this instead of like just importing it. So, our test passed, so that this works using our kind of the same kind of send query. Well, let me see. What we really need is a test on close some stuff out. What we really need is to have a test on right here. So I'm surprised I don't have a test on this. Add crafter profile. Is there a test on show crafter? Nope. Is there a test on this crafter profile? That one is ultimately calling. So this one calls create crafter profile view. And that sucker. Okay. I see. Okay. we aren't really testing. We didn't really test drive the thing I'm looking at. I guess we never test drove this, did we? We had to have, though. Add crafter profile. Huh. Well, let me look at this. Maybe the reason I didn't test drive because it would be too hard to test. It's like it'd be too much integration in these communities that we're able to present that view to the user by using views.open, which loads that view into the Slack app for the user. So there probably wasn't an easy way to test this. That's why I probably didn't test drive at this level. But this is so the problem is when we're sending these in to down to here. So present add crafter gets those methods, and then it calls create the view, and then ultimately this is where those are called, those methods down here. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, problem solved. Okay, so here's where they're called. We should probably, if we tested this method, there's no easy way. I don't want to use spies. So I'm not even using the response. Oops. So let's get rid of this garbage. So that's why I didn't test at this level, because the problem is we should extract this part out into, let's see, no. Let's just, we need to debug this somehow. Somehow it's not getting skills, the way we change this. Oh, I know why. Because if we run our tests, when we run this test right here, it's failing. Why is that? So if we go to our add crafter, this test is causing the failure. What is this test doing? This is calling this. Oh, we're sending in nulls for those methods. Okay, because the point of this test was to test the view, only the view, not the calling to get the data. Okay, that's the problem. So I was basically using dummies, and the dummies were really just the nulls. But that's causing a problem now because our view relies on having skills. So somehow this test was passing before, but now we're saying ignore the skills stuff, but then we can't because it's saying you have to see what this is doing. So presents a name input. It's checking to see that we present a name input field for the person. So if we add crafter required, okay, so it presents the required field basically. Okay, so this one's saying it's basically right here. This is the problem. Our test started using that down here, and convert a declaration exception. Let's look at our call stack. So we called this, then this called this, and then this bitched because it had nothing. These are all nulls. Because these are probably not. They're optional. Okay, they're optional. But then it got down to here, and there was no. I see. So this was like null basically right here. I think. Skills section, skills. If there's no, yeah, it got null because there's no skills. And then so basically we tried to render that in our view and it blew up. So what we need to do is we missed doing this instead. We probably should write a test for this. So we basically, if there's no skill sections, let's write a test for this. I'll show you. We should have this. Something like below it. This and this. You know what I mean? Something like this. Oh, that's not gonna. That doesn't work. How can I do that? Skill sections and. If we spread it, we can't spread it. I'm just trying to think this through. Okay, if there's no skill sections, how are we spreading other stuff? We didn't do that either. We need to write some negative test cases here. So let's do that. I'm not sure how we're gonna resolve this, but let's write a test first, and cover this use case, this edge case. So let's write a new test that says so let's basically copy personal website fields. We care about skills. So here we go. Presents skills fields. Oh, here's the sad path test. Presents no skill fields when there are none. Is that passing? It must be. Oh, maybe not. So this is saying we can't do that. So what we can do is we can take this out of here and code for the sad path case. For right now, we're going to ignore the rest of the tests, and I'm just going to comment them out for this time. Let's see here. I want to comment these tests out. With the jest, you can't just. So we want to write a test down here for this needs to be in a describe. Let's move this test into a describe first. This is kind of lingering out by itself. This needs to be in here. Okay, so that's taken care of. Now we can collapse the describe for this one. So we need to write a sad path test and ignore the rest of the tests right now because everything's blowing up because we can't just put nulls in here like this yet because we're not handling that case. I don't know how this was passing before, but it was somehow. So let's just go ahead and we want to add a test in here, in these two places right here. Here we'll add a sad path test. Like basically this right here is saying, is really the test that should have covered us, but. So we need to concentrate on this test. Let's do this. Only, and see why this test is not working for us still. Because it's basically saying there's no skills, you shouldn't show it in the view. But now that I did something, I broke this behavior somehow, I guess, when I redesigned something. So let's find out what I did. So let's just, since this is Jess, I'm just gonna, I don't think you can ignore, I don't think you can just do a skip on stuff with Jess, can you? I don't think you can. So I hate it. So I'm just gonna comment stupid Jess tests out. And then it does all that crap. So then we don't want to run this test either. We want to just run this, only this. I've tried doing fit, FIT, or only on this crap, but Jest does not seem to work with that, and it pisses me off. Unless I'm missing something. I'm used to doing that with Mocha. It's very easy. Shit out. It's a pain in my ass. So Jest was built for developers who only run tests at the command line. It's like for a very opinionated use case. And that's why I don't like Jest. It's not flexible as you think. So let's go ahead and we got to comment all this crap out just to run this one test. So this is dumb. So there we go. Now I can just run this one test without having to create another configuration file up in IntelliJ, and it will just run this one test. Lovely. Let's still running the other test too. We have to ignore that stuff. Oh man. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's just do a new configuration on this thing. Or just run it from here. So, did that just pass? No. Did it? No, I didn't. I ran that test, didn't I? Let's run the test by itself. So if I go down here and run the test. There we go. I ran the wrong describe. What? See, why is it giving me no test down here? I just ran it, but it shows me no results. Okay. What? I'm trying to figure out why it's not running my test. What the hell? So we ran our tests, but then nothing happened. It showed green, but didn't show a test being run. What the hell? Oh man, Jest, I hate you. God damn it. Why didn't this... Oh my god. Such a pain in the ass. Shit. So JustConfig is using what? JustConfig says to run tests in Slack. Run all the units. We should probably change this to be specific to the Slack folder. C test Slack. See if this works. No. src test Slack. What's wrong with this? src test Slack. What? Huh. So if I did... Nope, that's not it. Okay, unit spec.ts. That should work. src test. src test Slack. Do I need this? Nope. Nope. I should run my tests. What's going on here? What? Okay, so, okay, I guess it's not gonna work. Let's go back to here. And the problem is it has looked through all my folders, and I don't want that to happen, so let's try to fix this. It's probably because I have these backslashes wrong. Right? No, that seems right. Hold on. Love when they don't show examples. I hate that. Why don't you show an example, folks? There we go. I was wrong. There's an example. So /, yeah. So we said src test slack. We probably need a / here, which I had before, and then the regex comes in place. I don't see a problem with this. That should still work. But yet, it doesn't like it. No files found in... maybe we need root directory. Let's try that. Nope. Huh. Let's try... So we're already in the root directory now, so src test slack. Oh, let's see. So we've got, excuse me, some of these don't have spec on them, so let's see. These tests all have spec. You should find those tests at least. And they all have spec on them. Okay, so that's cool. Yep, spec. Okay, that's fine. So, like, what's wrong with this thing? Select, I don't know. If we go back up to here, it's using our config file. I'm missing something dumb. I just can't see it. Fuck. I hate regex. This is a pain in the ass. So, I'm not the best at regex. I suck at regex. And I don't care that I suck at it because I hate it. So, let's see. Oh my god. So, let's look at our configuration here. We've got test config. It's saying to run this spec here. Run the one file. Run the test in it. Let's just get rid of this again. Let's run our test again and see. I don't know why it's not running this test. See, it just stops. And if we go to our test, let's look at this again. It's probably because it's probably bitching about this. So let's do this. Run our test again. It just doesn't show us the error. Come on. Huh. So this is saying to run language skills presents. So it is running our test. So if we did debug on this, I don't know why I don't see the output though. If we did debug my test, let's debug it and see what's going on. I don't know why we're not seeing, like, just isn't showing me any output here, which is really weird. So let's just do a debug on this, see what happens. Maybe because we're already described. Did we end our describe? Oh, yeah, we end it. What? Debugger. What is going on here? I can't even hit the debug on this. Oh my god. Let's get rid of the describe. And let's see if we can hit our test still. If we can't, something weird's going on. So let's run our test again. What the fuck? Present craft profile. We set nulls to there. That's interesting. We didn't even send in. If we don't send in anything, we didn't even send in all the. We didn't even null all of this stuff. So it must null it. So let's fill that back in. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4. Okay, so that's cool. So run this again. Huh. This describe I don't care about. Let's actually just comment this whole thing out. Like, we don't care about the describe. Maybe it's just hitting the first describe. There's no test in it, and it's just. Wait a minute. Let's get rid of all the describes. Let's get rid of all this crap up here, and just run our test. That's all we care about right now. What the hell? This better work. Something's bitching. Hold on, let's stop this. What is this bitching about? Statement expected. We're missing something. So if we go over here, man, what is it complaining about? Oh, this. Oh, okay. So let's just do this. Trigger ID was up here. Let's just put it in our test for now, and just get this thing working again. So we're also going to split this file into several files after we're done. It's too big. So there we go. Equals, what were we setting it to before? It was setting it to, I was using this. So profile view, I'm just going to give it a string and see how it happens. Let's give it a string and see if this, how far we can get here. So if we run this, forever to spin up. I'm glad we're working on these things because we need to prove this. So, oh, finally we get a stupid error. Oh, this thing's still there. So that's part of the problem. We're gonna test now. I'm getting rid of jest. I can't wait to get rid of jest. I hate it. Who's calling me? Shut this phone up. Hold on a second. Stop calling me. Jeez. Tired of getting calls all day. Alright, back to the code. So, look at this. I don't know why we're not getting any output from this test. I've never seen this problem before. I mean, we've been running these tests before. What's changed? The only thing that's changed is I moved this jest config out so that I could run this in my CI/CD easier. So, I don't think it should make a difference though, because we're saying the root is Slack, and we're saying run tests from that, which is here. So actually, it's already using the root to base the context of running these tests on. I actually didn't need to put in any path here at all, because it's basically on a root. So if it's based on this root already and it's saying to run the test there, it shouldn't have a problem. Set up files, yeah, I mean everything should be fine. So if we run all these tests, it works fine. Like if you run this now, I bet you it runs that test just fine. The problem is when we try to run individual tests, it's giving me a pain. So see, if we run everything, then it seems to be okay. So what the hell? I don't know, let's just do it this way. I'll be able to just freely put only on my test and run it like I can in Mocha. So let's just see if we can get this test to presents no skills. Presents no. So here's where we are. Here we are. So this one's still. Okay, so here's the same error. Let's fix this error now. So this test is supposed to say if you send in nulls, like basically no data, then this shouldn't bitch. It should just not present these fields to the user. So this is not working anymore. So let's fix this. So if we send in nulls for these guys, which means we aren't going to get, we're not going to be able to. Let's see if we send in nulls here. So our test says if it hits this, we're not giving it any data. If we don't give it any data, then it comes out a smaller function down here, and this creates part of the view for the user based on that data. So if there's no data, we return null. The problem is, again, right here. We're trying to spread a null. So it's saying it's not iterable because we're trying to spread it. There's nothing there. It's a null. So we gotta do something like again, we have to do something like this. If there's no skills, then we don't show it. We don't try to spread it. So how do we do that? So if I tried that last time. So if we did skills section. So if we did this, I don't know how. We gotta figure this out. So I guess it'd be like this, maybe. I'm not sure if that's going to cause a problem though with the view when we render it. We'll find out. It may make our test pass, but it hopefully didn't break production. So if we run this now, let's do the same thing for the other ones. So community blocks. There's a couple more that we're nulling out, which is communities. What other ones? So we nulled out communities, skill, XP, and countries. So let's look for ... notation. So we covered that. Countries. I think we're good. Let's run our test and see if it passes. Why is it taking so long to run? Where's our test at? Did not pack. We know it's not there because we didn't render it. So that's okay. So that's the thing. Like blocks find. Okay. So if the block's not there, we can't do a .block ID on it. Wait, block ID of null. Blocks find. Why are these tests not passing anymore? It's so weird. I don't remember what I did. So block. If we look, let's just do this. We should get blocks, and we try to do a find on it. And we say, if the block ID. Let's just do this. Let's just debug this and see what's going on here. So if I do should be able to debug this hopefully. Okay, so blocks. So there we got blocks. That's the view they present to the user. Find. I don't know see why this is blowing up. If you can't find a block, it shouldn't find a block, and that's it. Type text. Block ID. Undefined. Let's do this. We can change our test to say here, let's do this instead. Hopefully this will fix it. Block and block ID, block and let's see. All right, so does that fix it? Nope. What? Alright, let's do this. Alright, there we go. I'm not sure why it's finding an undefined for a block, because all it does is get blocks. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't understand. Because I saw blocks right here, but then why did it find an undefined block? I don't know. But we fixed it. For now, I'm not going to worry about it. So that's fixed. Now, if we go back and undo our tests and the rest of this stuff, hopefully it should work. So if we undo this, everything else now, hopefully we've fixed that problem for the rest of the tests. Okay. Alright. Okay, let's try to run these tests again. Let's just run these ones if we can. Let's see if they pass. Mostly do. There's a couple that don't pass still. We need to split this file out. It's too big. But let's fix this first. This is the same problem here. We have to do a... Let's fix this test. Oops. Run this again. This one's also failing. So we sent in... Oh, we sent in a null for this, and we're testing for skills. Let me look at this real quick. So skills, we said null for the rest of them. And we said, let's just finish this out. This is supposed to be null. Null. Just to make sure it's explicit. Alright, so if we nulled everything out but skills, we should be able to find skills in the view. But it's blown up because... didn't find it. Why didn't it find it? So if we look at our view... so... let me close some of this stuff out over here. So we're testing... this one, and it calls crafter profile. Search for this section of the view that it's looking for. So, okay. Oh yeah. So we changed the design of our code, and we never fixed this test. So what happened is we added we appended an ID to the end of it because the Slack API doesn't let you put more than 10 skills in a list of checkboxes, so you have to split it out into several sections of skills, which sucks, but I had to do that. So I had to append... we have 3 sets of skills sections. And so I had to put a unique ID on it. So our test isn't accounting for that, though. So if we go back to our test, it's looking for just this. That doesn't exist. Oh, okay, so in this case, ID is just going to be 0. So let's just do this for now. It's not the greatest, but I just want to get these tests working again. And then, so we can rip out Jest, and so we can automate these in our CI/CD again. And then we'll do some more refactoring on them. But, okay, so this one still isn't working because, I don't know, let's debug this and see. So if we debug this test, it should get to here. Wait, no, there's no skills. Wait, there is skills. We gave it skills. It should get here. So let's put a breakpoint here. And see how we do. Okay, so it's not hitting our test yet. So let's just make sure. Okay, there we go. Now we go and see what happens. Well, let's see what blocks we have. So the blocks that we have are And let's see if we have a skill section in it. We should. What? What? What the hell? Okay. Profile view is nothing? You shitting me? What? We got no profile view. What? How is that possible? Skills is this. Let's just debug up here, I guess. Damn it. Okay, let's go up here and see what's going on. Am I getting a view back or something? Something weird's going on. Ay. Jesus. So let's step into this one. Okay, we get over here. It gets here, and let's keep going. Gets here, tries to create a skill section. Oh, we've got skills, right? Yep, 2 skills that these are the skills we sent in right here. It gets down to here, gets down here, creates a skill set. Okay, it does get here, and yeah, it gives an ID of 0. So why isn't it finding this section? So we gave it here. Let's continue on. Is there a skill set? Yes. And then it says to create the options for the skill set, which is a bunch of checkboxes. So we have now a section with checkboxes. Creates that. Let's continue on. Right. Okay, so here's the section it's created. We're looking for that section. We're trying to get that here. And so if we look at the section now, let's see the ID on it. So there it is, skills section 0. That's what I tried to find. Okay, so let's continue. Maybe I had to run the test again, I don't know. So if we do, we try to find that block, okay? Then we should have it here. But it's undefined. Block ID is skill section 0. We saw that in here, right there. So let's do one more thing. Let's just do this again. I know it's there, but that for some reason it's not finding it. So let's do this. Let's go and look at here. Something's wrong here. Something, I don't know. But so here's the options it creates. So we get here and we look at the blocks. It's not finding the block. Oh, here we go. View block this for some reason. So let's look for skill section 0. So we've got, this is essentially the form I'm presenting to the user. It's my Slack app. So these are the sections of the form. It's a pretty big form. Yes, it is. But we need to find, let's just do this in here. So can we find blocks? I mean, we can essentially just take this right here and try to see if it works. And it doesn't find it. Why is that? Let's take this off and look at our blocks again. I don't know why. Up here is where it renders it. So if we go up to here, right here is where. Oh, okay. So then, oh, remember I told you by doing this, I wasn't sure if it was going to break production. It might have broke this other test because I wrapped it with another object literal. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe it can't find it anymore because it's one level deep more. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but that's probably what broke it. So if I do, yeah, that's what it is. So, okay, that broke this test. So we have to do this differently. So I think we have to, in this case, we're going to have to do a, I know what we have to do. This is tricky. We have to do I had to handle this kind of stuff specifically with object. Let me find it. I think I had to do something like this. Wait, let's see. Object assign. These are for check section. Okay. I might have to do this. No, wait a minute. Maybe it has to be... Maybe it has to be an array. If I do an array... Let's see if it let's run our test now and see... Oh, Let's see what happens now. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see. Nope. Because it's in an array, so it can't find block ID because now block ID is down on the level. Well, I know what we can do. We can do this. We can take this out. We can't just leave it like this. We could just do this, and then in our skills section, we could return. Can we just do an empty? Like, can we just do this? Will that work? So if I run, does it fix my test here, and does it fix my test in the other place too? Is my question. So maybe we just need to return an empty object. What? Oh, it's not iterable. So, what if we just did? I don't know. Can we just do this? I don't know. I'm just guessing here, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to fix this problem. It's a tricky one. Present skilled fields. Did that pass? Yes. Does our other one pass? Ah, crap. How can I handle this one? Oh, this one we can just do. I think this is a different test actually. So if we run this, I think we might have fixed it. So if we return an empty array, that will spread over. Same deal for the other stuff too. Okay, so if I go back up to communities, skills sections, skills sections. Okay, and then we said community blocks. Same thing here. And then that's it. So if we run our test again. Okay, so this one's saying. Okay, so we just need to change our assertion on this to be an empty array, a null. So we're getting there, folks. This one is probably the same deal where we have to do a. Okay, so includes of undefined. So we have to do something like. We have to do Let's run this, see if this works. So this is kind of funky, but it's kind of crappy, but oh well. We'll refactor it later and make it better. Okay, so we're getting there. We're gonna have what, 3 more tests to fix. This one's saying it can't find the options because we sent no. So in this case. Okay, because it's relying on this up here. We sent no countries in there. Okay, so now we gotta fix the countries. This one right here. Okay, we gotta fix the sad path for this one. So, if there are no countries, okay, so we have to give it countries. So, this test right here, we're saying presents a country selection, but we're not giving countries. So we actually need to give it countries. I don't know how. I must have changed a bunch of shit lately. I don't know. And broke these tests. So we need to basically do this. We need to say, oh, we're here. We need something like this. So this one's okay. We need this, and we also need this. Okay, so I did some refactoring, never finished running the test on them, which is bad, but I was doing a lot of stuff at the time. So this should fix the problem if we send it countries, which is okay, so it's the last parameter. Now I think that should fix the test. Let's see. Nope, not yet. So I couldn't find options. We set the countries in, and we tried to find. I think we need to do a. Yeah, we need to do something like. Let's see. Tried to find the countries. Country selection. Oh, accessories. Country selection. Let's see what we're getting first. Let's do this. It's skills. I don't care about skills. I care about countries. Alright, so let's get past this. Countries, we're getting blocks. Let's see if we can find. Let's see if it's in here or not. So if you do this, so we're looking for countries A to B. So there's A to H. And then just try to say A to H accessory options. So if we do this, that doesn't exist. What are we looking for? We're looking for, we're checking to see if it's got options. So if we do this, elements. Okay, so it's element options. Okay, so we need. I don't know why this changed. Maybe I think I must have changed some of my view to use a different element type or something, and didn't change this test. So that should, I think, fix it. Okay. Because I think there was a different way to present those options, I think, and I think I've changed it into view and didn't fix my test. So, okay, now this is coming back with 2. Okay, so this makes sense because we were stubbing it with 2 up here, see? We're going to change these tests to actually hit our in-memory database after this, but for now we'll keep it since it's working. We want to get it back to working first, and then we'll refactor these tests to hit the in-memory database instead of using the stub data up here. So, all right, so now we got 2 more tests to fix. Same deal with here, element. Same thing here. Element. And the same thing with the test below it. Element down here. Let's run our test. It might be done. I think we're done. All right, cool. Our test passed again. No. Oh, because we have to change our. We didn't give it any data. So back to here. Same thing here. So we need to just basically copy this. I don't care what countries we give it, as long as it has countries. I don't care if it's the same. Wait a minute. That's not what I want. I want this stuff again. So put this here. All right. So that fix that one, and this should fix this one. All right. So if we run our test again. We'll refactor in a minute. We'll clean this up. Because we're now only giving it 2. Same deal with the other one. We only gave it 2 countries. Alright, so that's that. That should fix it. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is run this in our CI/CD pipeline. And what? Hold on. I through R is failing. I through R. Oh, I know why. Because I through R depends on having a country ID that's greater than 0 and 3. So I through R starts at. I had to split these countries up because Slack has a limitation in their stupid API. So that's why we're splitting these up. These lists of countries up. It's stupid, but it sucks. But you know, I through R starts at 70. So we have to change this to be like 76. Like 100. This one has to be 146 to like 194. So 160. I don't care. So that should fix that. All right. So everything's passing. All right. So let's go ahead and run all of our tests again, and hopefully there's no more to fix. We have one more test to fix, looks like to me. All right, so cool without tests, but can get the data just no policy or company takes personal. New code must have. That's interesting. Okay, oh, we have 2 more tests to fix. All right, so this test here. Oh, so what we've been doing is getting rid of this stupid NAC stuff, and actually calling the in-memory database instead. So we just did it yesterday. So we need to get rid of all this stuff here. And we're getting rid of that, and then we're gonna do like this. We're gonna send in send query. We're gonna inject that. That's gonna be the one from our test helpers. Oops, what happened? From here, we're gonna inject that, and there we go. Now we can send in, and that allows the test to directly call the GraphQL API without having to go over the wire or any network calls. And so that means in our production code, we'll also have to. And this makes our test simpler too. See, no more mocks and shit like that. So, let's search for this in our production code and make sure we're filling that need there too. So in our production code, we call it here. We need to call send query here. And we're going to add the real one here. That's using the API helpers. That actually sends a real call over the wire. That's for our production code. All right, so we also are. That's the only place we're calling it. Okay, so now let's clean this up. Okay, cool, and let's I think it just passed. Did it pass? No. Let's run our test again. Finds crafter by Slack user ID. Okay. We now have just 2 tests failing, so I think this one's still failing. Oh, because when I tried to add this to the in-memory database, it had a problem. So it had a problem. So we did not get back a craft Slack user ID. Oh, because... Oh, I know why. Okay, we have to add one to the database first. So, okay. Let's do that. We did some of that stuff in our GraphQL test already, so let's just look at our GraphQL test and kind of do the same thing. We're kind of duplicating some of these tests because some of these GraphQL requests are Slack oriented, so they really are based on the Slack app. And our GraphQL handles different use cases for different kinds of apps, and we've decoupled that code on our GraphQL side as well. So this is still valid. So let's do this. If we go to one of these tests in GraphQL, I just want to grab a query to add crafter, to add the crafter first to the database, so we can find the crafter by Slack ID. So we have. I don't want Slack. I want the GraphQL test. Here we go. So right here, I want this, and this is going to go right here. And GraphQL return fields are like, hey, these are the fields I want to return. You have to give it something. So I'm going to give it, like, I don't really care, first name. So let's just do this. Now I think that should make it pass. Let's see. We have got a really good discussion going on, or not tested. We have an awesome discussion going on in my Slack right now. If you want to join it or learn from it, just come along and listen or contribute to it. But here's the link to my We Do TDD Slack community, and you can also use this to add your crafter profile on WeDoTDD.com. My thin slice allows people to add it through my Slack app initially. So if you're interested, come along. It doesn't matter if you know TDD yet. If you're curious about it or trying it out or trying to learn refactoring or clean code, please come join our community. Here is the invite for you. Don't be shy. We're all friendly. A lot of beginners in there, a lot of experts in there. So a lot of, I know experts, but we've been doing it for a long time too. So that did not fix my problem. So what is this thing doing? Okay, so then it found a crafter. Then it found... Oh, this is the problem I've been having all along. Okay, so we got to fix this issue. Basically, add a crafter to the database, but then when we try to retrieve it, it's not there anymore. So I don't know if I'm creating a new instance of the database by accident and losing it or not. So if we can fix this, I'll be very happy. So let's look and try to fix this for once and for all. The good thing is this time we're hitting the GraphQL API directly, the module. We're not going over the wire, making a request over the wire. So that's good, but we still have this problem. It's not for the GraphQL test, and I'm not sure why I have this problem for the Slack test. If I create 2 GraphQL requests, it adds the crafter to the database, the in-memory database, but then it can't find it because it loses it. So I'm not sure why. Because here it says, it says add crafter. Crafter was created. There was one row in the database, and then when I send the second GraphQL request, okay, well it's still there. It's saying, hey, it's still in the database, but then that's good. That's something that I didn't have last time. But now it's saying so it's having a problem right here. So let's see if we can hit the breakpoint. Because before I wasn't able to do that either because I was going over the wire. Now we're not doing it anymore. We're actually hitting it directly. So maybe now I can debug this thing. Let's see why the in-memory database can't find the crafter. I'm tired. Alright, so we make the GraphQL request by hitting the GraphQL service. We eventually get down to the very bottom, which is our data layer of the GraphQL service. And we say, hey, I'd like to find this crafter. And so here's the query. So what we can do is we can say, now here's I can play with the in-memory database and see if it's there. So if I do this and play with it to see if it's there. So let's do this. Let's say, let's copy. I can't copy from here. Hold on a second. So if we do this, I didn't want to erase the whole thing in there. So let's just do this. I want to put this out here, and that's the thing it's trying. Oh, well, that's the problem. It's trying to find it with nothing. Okay, so that's a problem. That's why it's not finding it. Why is that happening? If we look at our test, let's look at our test again. Our test sends a GraphQL request. Okay, so that looks okay. It's sending the 10. But then when we get down to the database, it loses it seems like to me. So let's go back to the database layer and let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. So we're here. So let's run this again. So I want to run this again. So if we run our test again, okay, here we go. At least we found the problem. I think we'll be fixing this pretty soon, I think. So who's out there? Let me know. Let me know who you are. So here's the GraphQL request coming from Slack, right? So let's get the query and see what this looks like. So here's the mutation. Oh, that's the create crafter mutation. We tried to find the crafter after this. It's still creating it, still creating it, still creating it, still creating it. Just creating a bunch of different parts for the crafter. Eventually we'll get back to the retrieval part. Oh shit, I just missed it. Okay, so it gets here. And it's okay, so it's looking for 10. That's good. And then okay, that's good. And then we get down here in the data layer and it tries to find the crafter. Here's the repository. Trying to find the crafter. Okay. Here's the database layer. Here's the query. Okay, looks good. Okay. Here's the query. This is my logging right there. So here we go. It tries to query. Here's the query going into the database. Okay, that looks okay. Okay, it's trying to find it. But didn't find it. So if we look at this, for some reason it's not finding that crafter, and I don't know why is that. The query It looks fine to me. So if we copied this, it actually was okay. That was the query. But I couldn't find it because why? Because why? So if we do this, are there any crafters in the database? Oh, whoops. Yeah, there's a crafter there. Oh, crafter username. What are we? We're searching by crafter Slack ID. Oh, it inserted it with a Slack ID of nothing. That's why I can't find it. So what our insert? Okay, I know why. Our test is using stub data, and so from our test we didn't set the and we only need one crafter for this test. So we didn't do, what we forgot to do is this. Crafter stub. Yeah, we forgot to do this. Crafter stub. So instead it's the crafter Slack ID. We forgot to do Slack ID. Slack user ID to equal 10. This is the part we're missing. So let's move this up the top. Let's just use this. And then this should pass now. Okay, that's why I couldn't find it. Sweet. Okay. I'm glad because it's actually going to work now too, because I had a problem with this before. Crafter stub. Alright, so now I think this will pass. So let's see how fast this runs. I'm curious. Cool. Alright, so that's awesome. That worked. So okay, so that passed. So we have one more test to fix, which is this one. And this one had a problem with the database as well. Okay, this is still trying to use. Yeah, this is still trying to use. We have to make this use the same deal here. So we call this. Okay. We add the crafter, and then we call. Okay, this one. Okay. This is the one I had a problem. I think we can fix it now. So we need to send in right here the send query. Oh, we just sent it. Okay, so we call publish home view. We need to be able to send in a send query from publish home view. So back to our test. All right. So we need a way to. I need a seam to allow us to inject that send query, which kind of sucks because we have to start it from here. But to get this to pass, that's okay for now. I don't care. So let's just do this. Input statements, test helpers. It's kind of crappy that we have to do this up here, but we're going to do it for now. I don't care. Send query. We'll refactor in a minute. And that's that. So that gets, now it gets this. It's going to use our send query from our test. And I think that should fix it. Okay. So let's run this test and see if it fixes it. Remember the test run to it, our CI/CD file. Okay, so we are back to green. Well, almost. Okay, we're back to green. That's good. So let's check our code in, and let's then do some refactoring, and then we'll see our CI/CD picking up and run the test in there. All right. So, whoops. So here, what we did is refactor test to directly call GraphQL. All right, so that's pretty much what we did. So, all right, so now is there any refactoring we can do before we get this running in CI/CD is a question. So let's go through our test and see. Oh, I know. We remember we had it to do, right? We wanted to remove the test and okay. So in API helpers, we need to clean that up. So in our production code, we have an API helpers thing, and that's under Slack. Shit. We need to go in here and remove some stuff. We don't need this anymore because we're injecting the test send query. So this real one doesn't have to worry about if it's development or production anymore because we're injecting this from our tests. But before I remove this though, let me make sure that our tests aren't using this anymore. So let's do this. Okay, so only production code's using this. Okay. I just want to make sure that our tests are definitely not going to exercise the real URL because we don't want that to happen. So, just not using our tests aren't using this anymore. We can hopefully safely remove this stuff up here at the top. Yeah. So if we remove this now, we just need to do this.